Hello, today I'd like to show you a large softcover journal. Explore is a vintage vibe ocean themed journal. And oh my goodness, the thing that I love about softcover is that if you go really chunky, it doesn't matter because there's room. The spine just curves with it. So it has two signatures because I was aiming not to make it too big, but as you can see, it's still big. How big is she? She is 12 1/4 inches tall and just over 9 inches wide. And as far as how big she is, well, she's tied up, she's 3 inches in the thick part here. I live near the ocean. Not a hop, skip, and a jump away, but at the longest, I guess, the traffic's bad, maybe 10 minutes away from the ocean. And we have lots of beaches where I live, so working on this just made me appreciate more and more where I live. When I have a craving to be at the beach, it doesn't take me long to satisfy it. It doesn't take me long to get there. So I started off with a piece of quilting that my mom had given me, I think probably 20 years ago, because it's got her initials in here. I added, of course, some charms to it, some bias tape edging and vintage bias tape. This lovely octopus charm here. Added this here and here. This is from the Graphics Fairy and some mermaid, and then I stamped in Explore, added a little bit of gold paint on it. Yeah, Mom knew that I like to repurpose things or things that maybe she hadn't finished. She would pass on to me, knowing that there's a good chance that I would finish it and do something with it. And I've got many things around the house that were unfinished projects she had sent me that I've turned into finished projects. Some things she's got back, and some things she didn't want back because she already had a lot of stuff. So yeah, every room in my house has something that she made or partly made. Oh my, I had so much fun making this. So in the opening here, you can see there's a big shell that goes with the mermaid there, the colors. And under here, you can see where I folded this up to create a pocket. You can see my mom's wrote her name. It says 2003. And I added bias tape as well on here too. A very old button here. In the pockets, I made this from a fabric sample thing, and in each pocket I've got a little journaling space. These ones here are the different salmon. It's their marine phase, and I attached a piece of tea-dyed cardstock to each one, so that, and a little forget what you call that. Is that a brad? Anyways, so that you can go like this with each of them. They all have that. One of my silk sample notebooks. I thought that went well with the mermaid. This is from Graphics Fairy. I've only have 6 of the Graphics Fairy images in here, and they're all mermaids. And the rest of the stuff is things I've made from, like a greeting card like this, or postcards. I think this is a vintage one. Anyways, you'll see. So behind this mermaid is a really old postcard. I don't know how old it is, but it's so old. It's printed in Switzerland. You can see the cover crinkling a little bit, the finish on here. You can't feel it really, but you can see it. Anyways, beautiful old chip. Now, yeah, I did measure it. Man, this time change has really made my brain wonky this morning. I don't know how you guys feel about the time change, but that's all I'm going to say about it. Anyways, some vintage ribbon here, the vintage button, and I don't think this is vintage, but I just like the colors of it. Made me think of the sea. And I got a bunch of these envelopes that have stamps on them that are dated 1987, and some of them were sea themes, so I included, I think I've got 2 in here, with a tea-dyed index card in there for journaling. Guess they were for collectors. But I thought it went nice in here. And tea-dye paper with some stamping there. And lots of charms in here. Here's a starfish one. Lots of information about whales. Got from some vintage books that I have. I didn't realize how much sea and ocean themed stuff I had until I went looking through my things. This is just from a magazine, but I thought that was cool. Made it into a journal card. And I got this idea from Rustic Journals, and she did a really cute job with some more sort of on the feminine flowery side, but I did this for a sea theme. So thank you for that idea. Really old encyclopedia dictionary page, and I chose the section that had sea. So you can see there's some things to do with the ocean in here. I think I put a couple of pages in. This is from an old book. Love the colors. And this is from the cover of one of the old books that I used in here. Here's a postcard. I don't know if it's vintage, but it's barnacles on a rock. And I had some fun with a bit of glittery colors because it just made me think of sea treasures. This book has loads and loads of writing space. Here we've got tuck spot here. This is what some of the beaches are like on the island that I live on, Vancouver Island. And at low tide, this is what one of our favorite beaches look like. This one is about an hour away from where we are, but we've got some that are closer that are like that. Several. Love, love. And this is from a Scots magazine, and it's a poem or song, I guess, about the sea. I thought that was interesting, and the colors went well with this journal too. And here's some vintage lace here. And some of my paper that I've had for a bit that I've dyed that were sea kind of color. I thought, oh yes, I got to put them in here for writing on. Some ledger with the octopus on there. And here's a postcard, Reader's Digest postcard. The sea, very stormy. That's probably what the sea looked like around here early this morning. Oh my goodness, it was windy and rainy. And there's a postcard. And where was this one? I think this is from the East Coast. Yeah, Prince Edward Island. That's a vintage postcard. Lovely. And some shells from a book. And this is a picture from a magazine that I put onto some index card that's been tea-dyed for writing space. And this is from the UK. Commemorative postcard, I guess, for a stamp that was issued in, I think, 1983. Here is a lovely vintage vibe picture from a magazine, People at the Beach. This is made in Hawaii. I tea-dyed that. Here's a graphics fairy mermaid. And behind her is a little litho of a seabird from, oh, this has a year on here or not. Nope. And in here we've got a pocket with a picture of two people walking on the beach, maybe sisters or mother and daughter, friends. And this is a unused card envelope. So I thought, well, I'll put that in there. You can journal in it or use it for sending to someone. Types of seaweed. Oh, seaweed at the beach after a storm is always super interesting. Lovely plate from an old book, and it's about seabirds. And some shells here. And that's from an old book too. Some more seabirds. This is from an old World Book Encyclopedia, and inside I put a picture here. Flower garden by the sea, and I see the sailboat. And oh, wouldn't it be great to have a flower garden by the sea, and then you just walk out onto the beach. Oh, I fell in love with the house that was on the beach in a town we used to live in. We did actually live in a beach house for a while. It was a rented one when we lived up north. And yeah, I did garden by the sea, and I took some pictures of that garden. It was when I was still a newbie at it. I planted easy things to grow. Yeah. And this here is from a vintage book, and this is from a lovely little, I guess, calendar book, and I thought that was lovely. This pictures there, a little bit inspiration in there as well. some shells from the books. I made a little booklet here, tea-dye paper in it, starfish on there, and there's a starfish there. Altered paper clip. I think it's a vintage paper clip. It's very sturdy. And a little bit of a flip spot here. Waterfall notebook. Can use it for tearing away or just writing on. A little spot here for journaling. Another one of those interesting papers from that calendar book that I just recently got. And there's space on the back to write. And there's a vintage paper clip there, small one. A little turtle, I think of it, maybe we could think of it as a sea turtle, I don't know, but it's cute. Beautiful shells, beautiful illustrations. And another mermaid. A little tuck spot here with a journal card, pictures from the magazine, people at the beach. Some more encyclopedia dictionary page. My throat's still a little funny from my cold, but I'm much better. I actually went for a nice long walk yesterday. It was wonderful. This here is fabric sample that I made into a flip. That's from an old book. This is from a magazine, but see how she's holding her sandals? Because she's just walking to the beach. There's a little fence. So I wonder if she lives on the beach. And it flips to make writing space here and here. There's some seabirds on the water, and there's somebody under the water and some seaweed. And that's from an old book that I got some of the pictures from in here. So yeah, I had some books from when I was homeschooling. They were already old when I got them. And I thought this was lovely. That's a postcard from Greece. It's from a museum there. And here is coffee dyed. I love what the coffee did to this paper. It was nice paper, but it was just, this silver was too bright. And when I coffee dyed it, oh my goodness, it just brought it down so it's perfect. And inside I've got a little thing, Jonah. And this has something about Jonah there too. And this here, this is shells from the Sea of Galilee. Because someone gave us a little bottle of sand and shells from there. Because they collect them and they travel. And somebody actually gave it to them, knowing that they collect them. And then because they knew that we would care about the Sea of Galilee because of our faith, they gave us this. And so I put some of them in here in a faux wax seal. I've got a couple more I'll probably use in a faith journal. And this is a picture from a gift book. I thought the colors went well, and the sea in the background, and she looks like she's in a garden and she's maybe picked something from it. Seaside garden. Yes, when I would stand in my garden in the rental place up north, I could, while I was standing in the garden, I could look out and see the sea. I could see the boats going by and the float planes, that was hard to say, float planes landing. And this is from a card. And there's a sailboat stamp there. Whale there. Mermaid's hair. Writing space. Little tuck here, and this paper has a little bit of blank space on it for writing as well. Starfish. I've taken a lot of pictures of starfish over the years. Another graphic series mermaid. I thought she was pretty. And there's a little fish stamp from Australia. And here's a little Canada stamp with a little lighthouse. You can see the ocean in the background. This is from one of those mouth painted calendars. Tea dyed it. Here's a card here. California, the Ritz-Carlton. I don't know if that's vintage or not. And here's another interesting page from that calendar book that I recently got. And there's writing space on the back. And here's a card that I cut down to make into a flip. And here we've got an old nursery rhyme from a book, I think it was over 100 years old. And it was falling apart, and it had some things in it that were not acceptable for today's readers. So I didn't feel bad taking that apart. And this one's from 1982. I saw 3 ships sailing, and that's a guess a stamp that was put out then. Here's another Graphics Fairy mermaid. I love the colors. Her hair's wild. And some pelicans and a little boat. I guess they're pelicans. And this was from a magazine. Oh, I just love that. It just makes you feel like you're on holiday when you're at the beach, even if you're not. Lovely old pictures. This is from World Book Encyclopedia. There's a little bit of information on the back as well about oceans. I had fun putting beads in here that kind of went with the theme of the colors. This paper I thought was perfect too. This almost has a brownie color for the sand and the blue for the water. And cute little card here, House by the Sea. And here we've got a little tag for writing on, writing space under there too. Thomas Kincaid Lighthouse. And here we've got the rest of that other card. It's blank on the back for journaling. Alter paperclip holding it in place. Journal card there. And this is, I think it's the grape or blueberry dyed paper, but it definitely looks like something that belongs in a sea journal. The color. Oh, two little cottages by the sea here with a blank on the back for writing. And there's another vintage postcard, possibly antique. And here's a greeting card turned into a journal card. And this here, I don't know if it's mother of pearl on this button, but it's lovely. I think it might be, and it's on a vintage paperclip that's been altered. Some more encyclopedia. So it's got things like seagrass and sea dragon. Yeah, all kinds of stuff to read. Little tuck spot here, and then flips open. Belly band there. And little writing space in here as well. Here's another plate from a book. And here's, oh yeah, this seemed appropriate for here. It's from a trip diary, a vintage trip diary. And there is from, I think, Harlequin Books, this postcard. And this postcard is copying some old art from an 1824 painting. But it's, I think it might be vintage, but I'm not sure. And here we have a little journaling spot there, alter paperclip. Some more charms, sand dollar. And on this one we have a postcard commemorating an artist. And I thought this was nice, an inspirational poem from a card, sea theme. Blue button. This is from a calendar. This is from our island down south. I've probably been to this beach. But we have these here on some of our beaches. They're the wild sweet peas. They don't have a fragrance that I've noticed, but they're really lovely color. There's some journaling paper there. These are glued on, so these aren't removable because this was just a calendar page. Here's a little journal spot with some shells stamped on it. And I didn't have the heart to cut this up because it's lovely, lovely. Somebody's artwork here. Like I say, we're journaling. It's from a 2018 magazine. I'm not sure what the magazine was. It was Harrowsmith for Country Living. And then I left this too. I didn't have the heart to cut this up, but there's so many pages in this book where there's room not only for writing, but you could add some of these pictures to them. So I left that as is. And I'm not sure what year this is from. I've had this for a while. Might not be vintage, but... And here we've got a little spot here. I decided to do this maybe for all the journals now. So it says Homemade by Wendy Mac, 2024, so whatever year that I made it. And on the bottom, signature strings, I've got these, I think these are painted shells. This isn't natural orange. And these are real shells, of course. And on here, this is real shell here. I'm not 100% sure. It's some jewelry. Oh, I'm curious to hear what you think. Do you like them this big? This is big. And again, I really like how when you use a semi-soft cover, it just curves to whatever number of pages you happen to put in it. So honestly, there's like, if you wanted to fatten it up even more, just add all kinds of stuff, there's room. It still lies nice and flat when you're looking through it, which is really good. Thanks for watching. Take care. And yeah, take care of yourself if you have a cold. But I have to say, once the cold is gone, it feels so nice to go for a walk. The fresh air, the fall colors, and probably most of the fall colors have fallen after the storm we had last night, but it was lovely. Bye.